Let's start Android storage options. So we are going to see what are the different storage options in the Android. Like this, see, it is a standard documentation from the Android. So you would be getting these storage options: shared preferences, internal storage, external storage, and the SQLite, and your network connection. Store the data on the web with your own network server. Share the data on the web with your own network server. Here TCP connections would be there. You are going to work something with the TCP and other things. Okay. Shared preferences is nothing but private, or say store private primitive data in key value pairs. Storing the key value pairs is very important. See, primitive type of data and the key value pairs. This is very important if you are thinking about shared preferences. So shared preferences are nothing but storing the primitive data in the key value pairs. Let's see what do you mean by shared preferences. See, the shared preference class provides general framework that allow you to save and retrieve key value pairs of primitive data. Save and retrieve what? Key value pairs of the primitive data. Right? Okay. Now primitive means what? Boolean, char, float, double, int, short, byte, string. Likewise, these are the primitive type. Okay. Now see, you can work with the shared preferences. You can get the instance of shared preferences using these two methods. First one is shared preferences and the get preferences. Get shared preferences, can you see, use the multiple preference files identified by the name, and preferences or get preferences for your activity, only one preference file for the activity. This is app level, this is activity level. Per activity this, per app this, means you can have multiple shared preferences via this, and it is going to create one shared preference file with the name of activity over here. Get shared preferences and get preferences, else everything is same. Let's do something related to this. So I have created one project, shared preferences. No, let's create some module, new module, say phone and tablet. Next, and here I am going to say shared preferences, prefs. Next, next, and finish. Shared prefs, these are nothing but what? Shared preferences. Let's see what are the shared preferences by the coding. So where you are going to use the shared preferences? If you are making simple tic-tac-toe like the games, and if you want to store the highest score of your user, that highest score would be having key as a highest score and the value as some integer. If you want to store some colors throughout the app, persistent storage, we are saying persistent storage, go with the shared preferences. Many scenarios are there. Suppose you are going to get some access token from the web. If you are working with Facebook, Facebook will give you an access token. That access token can be stored in the shared preferences, and every time you can pass that access token with your request. This is one thing, right? Your some names, static names, can be stored in the shared preferences. Company name can be stored in the shared preferences. If you don't have any relational data or complex data or primitive data storage, use the shared preferences, right? Okay. Now see how to work with this. I would be having, just it is indexing, it is not allowing me to go to that file. I'll go from here. Okay, this activity underscore main, and here I am going to have linear layout. Orientation is vertical, text view, this instead of text view I can have button, say id at plus id btn save, match parent, and instead of this at string, say btn save. So what is this? If you don't know, please see our tutorial on simple value resources, Android simple value resources. You'll come to know what is this. Okay, you can say save. Now you can have another method, say show and btn show this, show. Okay, and we'll have one text view to display the information, text view, match parent, and the wrap content id at plus id text data, like this, text and what data. You can have text size, say 30 sp, right, 30 sp, and simple text, say hi, just for the setting, so your data will look like that, hi. If you need at the center, you can assign the gravity center, so that will come at the center. And now remove the high, because you got the idea how it looks. Okay, now let me enable the Java 8 for my this application. Remember that you can enable the Java 8 inside this build.gradle file also. So this is a app level or root module, right? This is a root module. Here also you can add some Java 8 configuration, right? I would be putting separate video on that, how to enable the Java 8 throughout the app. You can check that video. Okay, now shared preferences, shared prefs, Gradle, just for your information, right? Or just for you should be getting habitual with the Java 8, how to enable the Java 8 in the project. Like this, you need to work with the Jack compiler, and if you want to enable the Jack compiler, just say enable true, write the closure Jack options and say true. Okay, then compile options, see, is another closure inside your Android closure. Compile options, say source compatibility 1.8, not 5, and target compatibility, spelling target compatibility, say 1.8. That's it. Any change in the build.gradle will lead to resyncing or sync once again, this thing. Okay, Gradle is getting built. Till then you can read the doc. So we are going to use something called as editor. Remember that shared preferences is an interface. Editor is an inner interface. You will come to know what is the use of editor by some time now. Now here I can have find view by id r.id.btn save dot set on click listener, and here you can write your lambda, whatever you need to write over here. If your lambda grows to multiple lines, it is a suggested way by the Java 8, write the method, refer the method. It is a typical functional programming, you are referring to the method. If view dot get id is exactly equals to r.id.btn save, do this thing, else we have only two buttons, so I can write else over here, else do this thing, right? So here I would be writing private void save data to the shared preferences, save data to what? Shared preferences. See how shared preferences, can you see what is this? This is an interface. Java documentation or Android documentation says that this is an interface. Okay, interface for accessing and modifying the preference data returned by the get shared preferences. For any particular set of the preferences, this is a single instance of this class that all clients share. Single instance of the class that all clients share. Okay, modifications to the preferences must go through an editor. Editor is an inner interface. Can you see? Editor, I am inside shared preferences file. Can you see this over here? Shared, sorry, not this, this shared preferences dot java. I am inside interface. It is an inner interface. Editor, right? Now see, modifications are gone through the interface editor only. Shared preferences dot editor. Editor is equals to shared preferences dot editor is equals to get preferences is also correct, right? Here you are going to pass mode underscore append. What in the what mode you are going to open the shared preference. This is also correct. Or you can have get shared preferences. You can have what get shared preferences. Okay, now name of the file and the mode underscore append. What is the name of the file? Right, sorry, you don't assign it to the editor presently. Just say shared prefs is equals to this. Editor object will use later on, but presently shared preferences shared prefs is equals to get shared preferences. Okay, name of the file is my prefs. Okay, name of the file, you don't need to give dot prefs, but generally people do that thing. You can simply give my, that's it, that's also fine. So file convention is up to you how you are going to follow the file conventions. If you are from the web background, multiple people from the Spring or J2EE background use such things: my dot prefs, production dot prefs, staging dot prefs, and my local dot prefs likewise. That is also possible, but that is up to you how you are going to follow. Okay, now editor, shared preferences dot editor. Editor is equals to shared preferences dot editor is equals to. Okay, you are going to get the reference of editor over here. See, shared pref dot edit, shared prefs dot edit. So you are going to get object of editor. What it does, see, interface used for modifying values in a shared preferences. All changes you make in the editor are batched. It is not the instantly reflected, it is a batched and not copied to the original shared preferences until you will call commit or apply. Until and unless you are going to call commit or apply. Anything that you are going to put in the editor, what I'm saying, anything that you are going to put with the editor, that is not instantly affected until and unless you are going to call what? Commit or apply. See how? Here, editor dot put int. Can you see? You can put the int. Key can be string value. You can have constants like this. Key underscore my key underscore say int like this, or sample underscore int, and you can have value 2017 like this year, coming year 2017. Create the constant field int with this, and you can say int simple sample int. Likewise, you can create another key like this, private sample bool is nothing but the boolean, sample boolean. Likewise, you can create float, sample float. you can have sample float like this, sample double, can be anything. I am giving absolutely vague keys, right? You can give anything like that. So you can have editor dot put float key underscore float. You can have a 25.89f. In the Java, values of the float and double are differentiated by the character f or d, right? Okay, editor dot put double, then you can say d over here like this. Second argument, required float. Okay, so here is the float, we need to make it double. Okay, put double, there is a no method, fine. See, only these many things are there, primitive types. So if you want to go with the double, you can prefer over the float, so we don't need this. Okay, but you can have the boolean as well. Editor dot put boolean key underscore simple bool, and you can say true likewise. See, it is not affecting, or it is not getting stored under my dot preps dot xml. So from this it is going to create my dot xml file in the private storage of the app. What it is going to do, it is going to create my .xml file under the private storage of the file. Now what is private storage, you will come to know tomorrow. Internal storage, how to work with the internal storage, you will come to know tomorrow. So there is one folder slash data your package name. Under that there is one folder called as files, which represents internal storage. There is one more folder called as shared underscore preps, which represent shared preferences. There is one more folder called as database, which represents your SQLite DB. Fine, that we'll see tomorrow, no problem. But presently, under that shared underscore preps folder, one my.xml file is getting created, and you can say editor dot commit, and now your actual data is pushed to the XML file. Until and unless you are not going to call commit, your data is not going to be pushed, right? Fine, commit. Here it is saying that you can use apply, but fine, commit is also fine, apply is also fine. Okay, so until and unless you are not going to call commit, this data is not going to be pushed to the file. It is a batched. By the definition, this data is batched in buffer or memory. When you call commit, that is going to be get pushed to the what, actual my.xml file. Okay, now I want to read it. How? See, private void, say read data, private void read data. You can get the reference like this, shared preferences my. Okay, now you can simply call, you don't need editor. Editor is for writing, not reading. Shared preferences dot get int, you can pass key underscore sample int, and default value. What if that key is not available? What should I return? You can say -3, please return -3. So here you can say int sample int is equals to this. Okay, then what we have, float, say float sample float is equals to sharedprefs dot get float. You can pass the key underscore sample float and -3.9f. default value. Okay, then boolean sample boolean is equals to this get boolean key underscore sample boolean and return false if that key is not available. Now you can log or text view find, you can create one string builder is equals to new string builder and go on appending builder dot, or you can call write this thing over here, technically this is correct, and builder dot append, you can append sample int, right, dot append, you can append colon this, then again builder dot append, what you can say, sample float dot append colon this thing, right, again builder dot append, you can say sample boolean, right, that's it. We would be needing these three things, and you can log at once, log dot I, not log, find view by id, r dot id dot text data, see text data, sorry, text view, and you can convert it to set text, and builder dot toString. I have used the string builder over here. What I have used string builder. What is string builder now? String builder is the mutable object of the string. String is immutable. Every change in the string or every operation on the string is going to generate new object of string. Here builder is going to append after the memory, after the needed memory. See this string builder, you can check it, string builder, what is that? Mutable sequence of the character is the string builder. String is immutable, any change on the string is going to generate new string object. That is the fundamental difference between string builder and the string. Okay, now here I am going to call, say, write, what is that method, save data, and here I am going to call read data. On this clicks save data and read data, btn save also there, then find r dot id dot btn show dot set on click listener and say this colon colon click, like this colon colon what click, scope resolution, you can say, run the code and see what happens. You have written three primitive types over here, right, int, float and the boolean. Tomorrow we'll see how to write to the internal and the external storage. What is the internal storage, what is the external storage, and we'll start with little bit of the SQLite tomorrow. Fine, let's get the output first. So this is how you would be working with the shared preferences. So instead of this get shared preferences, you can use get preferences. You don't need to provide the name in that case. I'll write the code and comment that so that you can get it afterwards. What I mean to say exactly, get preferences, this, right, and you don't need the name, you just need the mode, see, and you can comment out this thing. It is an activity level. You can create per activity. If you want to create one shared preference per activity, use get preferences, else everything is same. Okay, let me tap on the save. Just I tapped on the save and say show. Can you see 2017 25.89 and the true? This output you are getting from the shared preference. You have called read on the click of this show button, right? Same thing is happening over here. Save and the show. Okay, if you want to make it dynamic, right? So this year can be represented as a system dot current time millis. System dot current time millis. Then instead of this int, or let's keep this as it is, and we'll have one more thing, put int say sample long and system dot current time millis this, and let me create this say sample long, right? And I can add that thing over here, say long value. I'm writing this much declarative code, just imperative code, just for you. Say sample long is equals to this shared preferences dot this get boolean. Instead of get boolean, get long. Why this backtick is coming? This sample long and minus 1l you can pass by default value, right? Then builder dot append, say dot append, you can have this, and at the last builder dot append is nothing but what sample long, like this. So your output would be having now some dynamic value like this. You are storing one long value to the XML file, right? See what happens. Save, and you can say show. Can you see this? Save, show, this thing. This value is getting changed. Means you can save some dynamic values in this fashion. So this is all about shared preferences. First storage option, which is nothing but what shared preferences. Every storage option is having their own purpose. If you want to store the key value pairs, go with the shared preferences. If you want to store some private data, work with the internal storage. If you have huge data, you might have seen some games which APK size is smaller, right? But after that game become 1 GB by downloading some textures, some models. How? They store something on external storage, right? Then SQLite database, you have complex relational data, and that you want to store, you are going to use the SQLite database connection. Over the network, if you want to store over the network, then you are going to use the TCP connections, sockets, and the server sockets, UDP datagrams you can use over there, or web services simply with the HTTP, saving some data directly on the server, right? Web services. So we'll reveal these three things tomorrow. Introductory level this, day after tomorrow we'll dive deep into the SQLite database, right? Okay, so this is all about shared preferences. If you are watching and liking our videos, do not forget to subscribe us, right? And if you get any questions, you can put in the comments, so our team would be replying you. Thanks a lot.